Developing right now on Morning News Now, devastation across Florida in the wake of Hurricane Milton. This morning, more than a dozen people are dead and millions still without power a day and a half after Milton made landfall as a Category 3 storm. Now new concerns about recovery efforts as FEMA spends nearly half of its money for the next year in just 8 days.
What worries me most about the staffing levels is just with so many disasters happening at the same time that they're going to run out of people.
We have team coverage as the long road to recovery begins. Also this morning, another violent night in the Middle East. Overnight, Israel launching its deadliest airstrike on Beirut in over a year of war. And the UN accusing Israel of targeting its peacekeepers along the Lebanon border. We'll bring you the latest. Wall Street deflated. New numbers show inflation slightly higher than expected, but still cooling in the last report before Election Day. Plus, jobless claims now at a 14-month high. We're going to break down the data and what it means for you. And sounds like tradition, we're going to take you to Southern California to hear how one family is mixing their love of football and their Mexican heritage with a little mariachi. Good morning. Good to have you with us on this Friday. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is off. We start this hour in Florida. At least 16 people are dead after Hurricane Milton tore across the central part of the state on Wednesday and Thursday. More than 2 million people still don't have power this morning as officials begin to assess the magnitude of Milton's destruction. Even though the storm surge wasn't as bad as expected, historic rainfall has triggered life-threatening floods in low-lying areas. So far, officials have made more than 500 rescues. Now, as people look to rebuild after yet another devastating storm, early insurance estimates show there could be up to $50 billion in losses. NBC News national climate reporter Chase Kane is live in Daytona Beach, which is on Florida's east coast. Shane, good morning. So Volusia County, which includes Daytona, saw up to 15 inches of rain in some areas. Wind gusts reached up to 90 miles an hour during the peak of the storm. Tell us, what does it look like on the ground today? What's the biggest threat for people there?
Hey, Joe, there was an overnight curfew that just lifted a little while ago. The sheriff wanted that in place so that public works crews and utility crews could get out and try to get the power back on, try and clean things up a little bit more quickly. The biggest impact here in Volusia County was the flooding, but you're probably noticing this here behind me, where that surge that lasted for hours was just eating away at this beach. I mean, even looking under here, when we first got here, the sand extended for another 20 feet or so past where we are, even another 10 or 15 feet on the other side of that seawall, because one of the things with Hurricane Milton was, even though the storm surge wasn't as high as expected in some places, we had hours and hours of Milton still kicking up the surf off of the east coast, off the Atlantic coast of Florida, and that was just pulling the sand out to the ocean. And it was just a couple years ago, Joe, that Hurricane Nicole did a very similar thing. So these beaches were already in bad shape.
Again, a reminder, we're talking about what's happening on the East Coast, on the other side of where Milton first made landfall. As this community starts to recover and rebuild, Chase, what are some of the biggest challenges they're facing?
Yeah, I mean, Joe, good that you pointed that out, because, you know, we've had a lot of focus on the West Coast, on the Gulf Coast, understandably so, but folks here on the East Coast are having these impacts too. The biggest thing here in Volusia County and in many of these eastern Atlantic coast counties is that flooding. We talked to a lady just a few miles away from here in South Daytona who's lived in Florida, lived in this area for nearly 50 years, and she said she just doesn't know if she can keep doing this.
I just got finished fixing the storm from Ian. I just got finished. I have one more door to paint in my house. And now I have to replace the whole thing again.
Where do you think about going?
Someplace on higher ground. Higher ground. I don't know where, but I'll research and find a place.
She also told us that, you know, she's noticing that these storms are getting worse, and one of the challenges for her and for many people across Florida is insurance, that when people can get insurance, it's more and more expensive, Joe.
That is something that is affecting so many people right now, and it's because of climate change. You cover the climate for us, Chase. So talk more about how climate change seems to be fueling these monstrous storms. What was it about Hurricane Milton that might have been different from Helene, which we saw just 2 weeks ago?
Well, one of the things that we've talked a lot about is just how hot the water is in the Gulf. Record hot in some places. There were places where the water was actually warmer than the air, and that is just fuel for these hurricanes. That's why we saw Milton intensify so rapidly. And then zooming out, just as we make the atmosphere more hotter from burning fossil fuels, warmer air holds more water vapor, holds more moisture up there. So these storms are able to hold more rain that they can dump and dump that rain more quickly. Joe, last thing I want to mention is that actually later today, we're going to get a rapid attribution report, basically a quick scientific study from a group of scientists in Europe looking at exactly how much climate change made Hurricane Milton even more intense, Joe.
All right, Chase, thank you so much. Rescue crews in Florida are working round the clock to save people from floodwaters after the hurricane hit parts of the state with up to 18 inches of rain. Several people were trapped on floating debris, like this 14-year-old boy in Hillsborough County. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk explains officials are seeing scenes like this in places that don't usually flood.
In Central Florida, a race to pull people out of the water, not from a dangerous storm surge, but from Milton's torrential rains. This woman escaping the rising waters in the dark, her 4 young children in tow.
Once we hopped on the oven, I called my mom and told my mom, I think me and my children are about to drown to death.
Many of the neighborhoods underwater are miles from the coast and not typically flood prone. How long did you live down there?
I lived there 14 years.
Did you ever see it flood?
No, ma'am. Nothing like that.
The County Fire Rescue in Tampa says it conducted 500 rescues. 135 people were pulled from a single assisted living facility.
Please be careful. If you feel better, go on the dry ground. We can take you there.
Amphibious vehicles and marine units helped reach inundated homes. Rescue workers got here around 3:30 in the morning. Soon afterwards, they found this woman in the green sweatshirt alone in her house. She has a hard time seeing. The front door to her house was broken, and they couldn't convince her to come out. She was scared. They finally, at 1 o'clock, got her out and got her to safety. Milton's heaviest rain dropped over its northern edge, in some places falling more than 2 inches in an hour, with historic totals, leaving residents in this apartment building in Pinellas trapped. Hundreds had to be rescued.
A lot of credit to our teams that were out there today.
Even with all that warning, the strength of Hurricane Milton still took many here by surprise. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, Tampa.
Families across Florida are returning to their damaged homes to survey Milton's impact for the first time. NBC News correspondent Dana Griffin spoke to one woman. She's lived in her home for more than half a century and returned to see something she never expected.
Streets completely flooded. Debris scattered across lawns, even boats smashed into the side of homes. This one sitting on the road. While touring the wreckage, we meet the Drew family.
I'm heartbroken. I don't know what else to say. I mean, we can't do anything about it.
Deborah Drew, along with her 81-year-old mother-in-law, Patty, and daughter, Megan, returning to Patty's home for the first time since Milton's disastrous hit. A home Patty has lived in for 51 years.
This is the first time you're coming back to your home. What was your initial reaction?
Just devastating. I never expected it to be this bad. It's horrible. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just hope we can get it back to livable.
The Drews say they just finished cleaning up the damage from Helene and have never experienced back-to-back storms like this before.
7 days getting rid of the water, the first from Helene, and now she's full of muck.
And this is the second time.
Second. And she's lost everything already, and now whatever she got fixed up and repaired and put back together is gone again.
Helene bringing about 1.5 feet of water into the house 2 weeks ago.
Oh, we can see the water line, yeah.
But water lines from Milton reaching waist high. Walking through the house, Patty's entire home in disarray.
No insurance, no flood insurance, nothing. She's on a fixed income, and now she's devastated, and she can't live in this.
Just one of many families here in Florida now figuring out how to recover and rebuild. Dana Griffin, NBC News.
Let's get a check on your morning news now weather. As if they haven't been through enough, there is a small chance of showers and storms across southern Florida this weekend. Angie Lastman's here with that. Angie, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. We've got some of those showers working on shore for parts of the east coast of Florida here this morning. Notice Tampa, Sarasota, dry for our friends there, but instead we've got some of the shower activity working from Fort Pierce basically down into Palm Beach County. And this will be kind of the trend here over the next couple of days. Most of the shower activity is focused on the southern tip of the peninsula. You can see as we get through the day today, most of that, again, focused towards Miami and points south of that down through Monroe County. We'll see some showers and thunderstorms develop in that same kind of area here as we get into tomorrow. But notice the I-4 corridor, mostly dry. We're going to see quiet conditions, of course, warm conditions for folks that are cleaning up and getting back to their homes there. But even as we get into Sunday, most of that moisture focused across the southern half of the peninsula, but we do see a bit of an uptick in that tropical moisture working through. So just a heads up there. We've still, of course, got river flood warnings in effect. Some of those swollen rivers are going to take a little while to go down. Notice we've got some major flood stages from these rivers wherever you see those brighter pink dots. We've also got plenty of moderate flooding happening in those rivers. A lot of this surrounded by near the Tampa Bay area, stretching down to Charlotte Harbor, the Peace River there, and of course the Indian River across parts of the east coast of Florida. So this is going to be something that's just going to essentially take a little while to kind of see relax and reduce. So we'll wait for that here. But in the meantime, still some flooding occurring in that way. Big picture look of the tropics, because, boy, this is the #1 question I've been asked over the past 24 hours. What is going on with the tropics? Do we have anything to worry about? And the short answer is there's a lot going on, but nothing to worry about. We've got essentially Tropical Storm Leslie. You see out in the middle of the Atlantic. That's going to remain a fish storm. We're not worried about it for the United States. It'll take a little northeasterly turn here over the coming days. And then we've got one area of disturbed weather sitting off the coast of Africa that we're going to watch. That's seen an increase in chances for development, but that's way out there, so no immediate threat to any parts of the United States. And if we look way, way ahead to basically the middle of October to the end of October, we've got just 2 areas that we're going to watch for potential development in parts of the Pacific and the Caribbean. A 20% chance. And remember, this is way out there. We're talking, we've got plenty of time to watch for that. So the moral of the story is nothing to talk about when it comes to the tropics today and for the next week or so. We've got nice conditions, though, as we look ahead for Saturday across most of the country. Look at that. Mainly dry for just about everybody. We'll see a couple showers across the Midwest. But otherwise, it's the warmth that'll get your attention, Joe. We woke up a little chilly in the Northeast today, but the rest of the country, we've got summer-like temperatures, 90s, 100s in Phoenix once again. So bit of summer out there, but it's just a little taste of fall here in the Northeast.
Yes, we'll take it for a little bit. Thanks, Angie. Appreciate it. Of course, Milton is the second major hurricane in the past 2 weeks, leaving a path of destruction in the southeast. With families just beginning the recovery process, FEMA says it's ready to help immediately. But as NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez reports, questions remain over whether there's enough staff to provide support.
FEMA is stretched thin, the agency blowing through nearly half of its money for the next year in just 8 days.
How concerning is that? It is very concerning, but let me be clear. We can meet the immediate needs.
A lot of storm surge. It's rough. Very rough.
FEMA's responding not only to hurricanes Milton and Helene.
To get FEMA to reimburse you for your damage, you have to have documentation.
But also flooding in Vermont, tornadoes in Kansas, and more than 500 other open disasters dating back years. Just 8% of its highly trained workforce is listed as available.
What worries me most about the staffing levels is just with so many disasters happening at the same time that they're going to run out of people.
Meanwhile, President Biden with this message to former President Trump about storm misinformation.
Former President Trump, get a life, man. Help these people.
The former president in Battleground, Michigan, slamming Vice President Harris's record on the cost of living.
The economy has been a total disaster, but Kamala says that she can't think of one thing that she would do differently.
Harris's team is having former President Obama campaign for them in critical Pennsylvania.
We need a president who actually cares about solving problems and making your life better, and that's what Kamala Harris will do.
As for the storm response, President Biden says FEMA has enough money for now, but he's pleading with Congress to set aside more for small business disaster loans.
All right, Gabe, thank you so much. Speaking of the impact on businesses, Hurricane Helene has created a shortage of IV bag fluid at hospitals across the country. Now, medical institutions are scrambling to make sure they have enough on hand to care for their patients. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa has more.
Devastating ripple effects after flood damage from Hurricane Helene halted production at this North Carolina plant owned by Baxter International, which makes 60% of the nation's IV fluid. And this week, B. Braun Medical, a second producer, briefly pausing work at 2 Florida facilities ahead of Hurricane Milton. IV fluid, critical to everything from treating dehydration to surgical procedures, was already in short supply. Now the situation's even worse, with hospitals forced to postpone non-emergency procedures.
We are only receiving about 40% of what we normally receive.
Dr. Paul Bittinger is the Chief Preparedness Officer at Mass General Brigham.
We've been messaging to our nurses, to our physicians. We want people to find alternatives or to eliminate waste.
The American Hospital Association urging President Biden to declare a nationwide emergency, writing patients across America are already feeling this impact. In suburban Chicago, Robert, a 67-year-old mathematician and grandfather with kidney disease, just learned fluid needed for his dialysis is suddenly unavailable. His doctors scrambled to find an alternative.
I know if I don't get dialysis every day, every other day, I'm not going to make it.
It's an immediate need.
It's an immediate need.
Baxter International says it's working to repair the North Carolina plant while increasing production at other sites globally. The company hoping to resume full production levels by the end of the year. Maggie Vespa, NBC News.
And medical supplies aren't the only thing that can be impacted when natural disasters strike. Disaster relief organizations like the Salvation Army are working to make sure all kinds of critical supplies are getting to people who need them, especially after 2 major hurricanes made landfall in just 2 weeks. For more, let's bring in Jeff Jealous. He is the Emergency Disaster Services Director for the Salvation Army's Southern Territory. Jeff, good to have you with us. Let's start just with the big picture here. Your website says the Salvation Army is currently operating in 6 states because of these back-to-back hurricanes. What goes into coordinating an effort this large?
Well, it's a major operation right now. We would call it a historic operation. The Salvation Army has already served over 360,000 meals across impacted states from Florida all the way up into Tennessee. That obviously includes North Carolina, where we have a major relief operation. It means mobilizing people, equipment, supplies to provide things like hot meals, emergency relief supplies like cleaning materials, infant supplies, and it means putting a lot of people on the ground who can do those service delivery efforts.
You mentioned some of the ways you're helping people there in Florida who are impacted by Milton. What are the greatest needs right now beyond some of the things you just mentioned there?
Well, I think the need for food right now is absolutely critical. For us, yesterday was our first day in the field actually providing meals. We need to ramp up that capacity in a significant way. We want to make sure that people have a good, wholesome meal. Drinks, obviously, it's hot. The lack of power means people can't cook at home. Going beyond the food, it's more than just a meal. It's also about the emotional and spiritual care that's needed. Your videos before mentioned that people have been hit by storm after storm after storm. And so the mental toll is also troubling. So a lot of what we're doing also is just providing a listening ear and letting people know that they're not alone in this very dark time.
That is so important to so many right now. You know, a lot of our viewers don't live in Florida. They feel a little helpless. They want to help out, but don't know how. What are the best ways people can help?
It's easy to help. The best way to help is to make a cash contribution to the charity of your choice. If that charity happens to be the Salvation Army, go to helpsalvationarmy.org or dial 1-800-SAL-ARMY. We will put every dollar that is given to work, either responding to Hurricane Helene or Hurricane Milton relief efforts.
And let's talk more about Helene. The Salvation Army has been helping out in Appalachia since Helene moved through. When you're dealing with recovery efforts that last such a long time, how do people's needs shift week by week, month by month? We know the immediate needs, but this is a long recovery process.
Yeah, disaster recovery can take years. And every family moves through that process a little bit differently. Some may have insurance, some may not have insurance. And so what the Salvation Army does is really walk alongside families and those community long-term recovery groups. Down the road, we're funding things like reconstruction. We're funding things like replacement of appliances and furnishings. And again, that takes a long time. We are still doing long-term recovery operations for Hurricane Ida, Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Idalia. And so it can be a years-long process for some individuals.
An important thing to remember. Jeff Jealous, thank you for your time this morning. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
There is some relief this morning after a scary incident at a popular Colorado tourist mining attraction yesterday. More than 20 people, including kids, were rescued after becoming trapped 1,000 feet underground in the Molly Kathleen gold mine. They got stuck there for hours after the elevator that's used to shuttle visitors in and out stopped working. First responders rescued one group that was trapped in the elevator by pulling it back up. The second group was later able to ride the elevator back up once it was repaired. One person who was stuck in the mine died, but no information has been released on the cause of death. 4 others were treated for minor injuries. The Mine Tours website says it's now closed until further notice. Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, inflation frustration. New economic data renewing concerns from Wall Street to your local grocery store. We're going to break down the numbers and what they mean for your bottom line. Up first, after the break, in a New York court, we learn more about the sex trafficking case against Sean Diddy Combs. Break down the latest next. Stay with us. We're back now at the latest developments out of the Middle East. Israeli strikes killed at least 22 people and injured more than 100 in central Beirut on Thursday, Lebanese officials say. Meanwhile, the UN is accusing Israel of targeting its peacekeeping force along the Lebanese border. Israel is also stepping up its attacks on Gaza. Officials there say an Israeli strike killed at least 28 people Thursday who were sheltering in a school. NBC News International correspondent Matt Bradley joins us now from the Lebanese capital with more on this. Matt, good morning. So first, bring us up to date on Israel's offensive in Lebanon and these allegations by the UN.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. So as you mentioned, there was this attack, 22 people killed, more than 100 injured. And once again, we had front row seats to the horrifying spectacle of this bombardment. This time, it wasn't focused so much on the neighborhood of Dahia as into central Beirut. And this has happened several times before. But this was by far the deadliest Israeli bombardment inside Beirut city limits that we've seen for the past several weeks, ever since Israel expanded its operations against Hezbollah. And that also brings me to what happened in the south. The United Nations are complaining officially that the Israelis deliberately targeted their installations, at least 3 installations, and wounded 2 of their soldiers, 2 of their peacekeepers. And this is a situation that they said was a violation of international law. Other groups, including other countries who contribute forces to UNIFIL, which is the force for the United Nations in southern Lebanon, said that this could amount to war crimes. Joe?
Matt, well, the region is still waiting for Israel's retaliatory strike against Iran for those airstrikes on Israeli targets 10 days ago. We understand there's new reporting on Iranian efforts behind the scenes. What can you tell us?
That's right. 2 Gulf state diplomats, so that's those countries based around the Arabian or Persian Gulf, depending on your persuasion. They have said that there were actually warnings from the Iranians saying that any of those countries, many of which actually host American bases, who participates in Israel's much anticipated retaliation against the Iranians, will be considered targets, basically will be part of the war and could face their own retaliation from the Iranians. So this is something that is going to put a lot of these countries, who again are U.S. allies, on notice as Israel decides what to do next. Now, we saw back in April that at least one of these countries, Jordan, had shot down some of the Iranian missiles that had been firing over Jordan towards Israel. They said that they were doing this in self-defense of their own country, but it's a totally different matter whether or not they're going to participate in Israel firing against Iran. It seems unlikely because all of these countries have essentially ruled out that they're going to play any role in Israel's retaliation. Joe?
And Matt, yesterday a report was released by a UN panel accusing Israel of, quote, a concerted policy to destroy Gaza's healthcare system during this ongoing war with Hamas. What evidence did this panel cite in making this serious allegation, and any response from Israel?
Yeah, well, there was a wealth of evidence, Joe, and, this was something, the latest of the accusations against Israel by a United Nations body. This was a very well-documented report, and it actually zeroed in on several different incidents, but one of the most specific was Hind Rajab. Now, this is a 5-year-old girl who our audience may know because her cries for help when she was pinned down with her family by Israeli fire after her whole family had been killed in Gaza by the Israelis. They went viral, and it was just heartbreaking to hear. Now, this report mentioned this incident and said that Israel killing all of her family and then killing 2 of the ambulance workers who came to rescue her. And this is what happened shortly afterwards. These rescue workers actually said that they had cleared their path to find Hind with the Israelis, and they were subsequently killed in their ambulance. This report says that this series of killings, could amount to a war crime. Joe?
All right, Matt, thank you so much. There are new developments in the federal sex trafficking case against hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Yesterday, Combs appeared in a federal court and learned his trial would begin in early May of next year. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas has the latest.
Embattled music star Sean Diddy Combs back in court, making his first appearance since being indicted on sex trafficking charges in a sweeping indictment last month. Once one of the most powerful men in music, Combs now wearing a tan prison uniform as he walked into a packed courtroom, waving to his family who were seated in the gallery. It was also the first time Combs had been seen since being locked up at Brooklyn's notorious Metropolitan Detention Center. Combs' mother seated behind him in court along with 6 of his children. During the hearing, the judge granting a speedy trial at the request of Diddy's lawyers, setting the trial date for May 5th.
Generally, when a defendant exercises his speedy trial rights, he's betting that the government or the prosecutors won't be ready and that they'll be scrambling as much as the defense is. But in federal court, often prosecutors are investigating a defendant for months or even years, so they may be ready to go to trial by the time they indict.
Even with immense preparation, though, that puts prosecutors on a tight timeline to crack open and analyze almost 100 terabytes of data on 96 devices that they say they recovered during searches of Combs' homes in Miami and Los Angeles, and from his person on the day he was arrested. Combs' defense also seeking a gag order for prosecutors, claiming that the government leaked information about the investigation to the media, including this 2016 surveillance video, originally obtained by CNN, showing Combs brutally beating his then-girlfriend, singer Cassie, in a Los Angeles hotel. Combs' defense saying that the massive coverage of that leaked video has tainted any potential jury pool, but prosecutors denying that notion and urging the judge to impose a gag order on Combs' legal team as well.
They specifically allege that DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is the agency they believe may have leaked these documents. Now, the prosecution denies it, but the prosecution also says, we're not DHS, so as far as we know, this didn't come from DHS or us.
Outside the courthouse, attorney Gloria Allred, who represents one of Combs' civil accusers, Don Richard, saying Combs' gargantuan celebrity status is still intimidating to alleged victims.
Even if he is in custody, they're concerned that he has many supporters, that there could be retaliation, they fear, if they come forward.
Despite the growing media attention and mounting civil lawsuits against Combs, his defense implying that the case is racially motivated in a recent promo for a new TMZ documentary.
They start making this case as a takedown of a successful black man.
The defense echoing that sentiment again at the courthouse.
Dr. King called it the law of unintended consequences. So sometimes the more you push a person down, the stronger they get.
Now all eyes on the prosecution, who said in court that they may be bringing yet another indictment against Combs.
Our thanks to Chloe Malas for that report. We just saw him in that piece, but let's keep the conversation going with NBC News legal analyst Stanley Savallo. Stanley, good morning. Let's pick it up right where Chloe ended it there. The prosecution saying could file more charges against Combs. Do you expect that could happen, or we could see more people charged in this case?
Yes and yes. Based on the fact, there are a couple factors here. Number one, the U.S. Attorney's Office themselves said the investigation is ongoing. Factor two is that they've seized a number of devices, and relatively recently. And I guess factor three was some of the things that were found. I mean, firearms were found. He hasn't been charged in connection with firearms. I get that they have to connect up possession with those firearms if they are going to charge him, which we don't know if they're going to. But I do expect, for a number of different reasons, that there will be either more charges heaped on Combs or more defendants added. And I rather lean towards just more charges against Combs, although if the government comes across something that implicates another individual and that person isn't willing to deal with them or offer the information and they have exposure, we may see more names in the caption soon.
And that could delay the start of the trial then?
Yes, it would, especially if there are additional defendants added to the case. Then you come back for a new arraignment. That defendant needs time to review discovery. So I would take those dates and push them out.
Another thing that stood out in Chloe's report, all those devices, 100 terabytes of data. How does either side sift through all of that?
So this is the dilemma. This is the challenge for modern criminal defense attorneys. I've dealt with it, and it simply has to do with the advance of technology. The same case 20 years ago would probably have a banker's box worth of documents. But today, all of the information we have in our iPads, our iPhones, our laptop computers, and the fact that there are videos involved in this case, there is going to be a ton of evidence. And as a criminal defense attorney, you're duty-bound to go over all of it. And really, it's not that unusual now for the modern complex case to have terabytes of data. And that's an amount of data that the human mind can't really even comprehend. And in theory, we criminal defense attorneys are supposed to take each of these bytes page by page and review them in advance of trial. It is a totally new era of digital haystacking.
The judge said that he would issue an order preventing both the defense and the prosecution from making statements about secret grand jury material. This comes after Combs' legal team filed a motion accusing the government of leaking that CNN video of him beating his former girlfriend. For their part, prosecutors denied doing that. Is this unusual? Is the defense using this to try and exclude the tape from trial, do you think?
We use some strange terminology. I'll often refer to the government. When I do, I'm usually talking about U.S. attorneys. I'm specifically talking about the prosecution. But what's interesting in this case is, according to documents filed by both the government and the defense, they appear to believe, or at least the defense appears to believe, that it was not the U.S. Attorney's Office that did the leaking, but rather it was Department of Homeland Security, which, of course, Joe, is still part of the government of the United States of America. So the defense's theory appears to be that not the U.S. Attorney's Office, but DHS may have been the ones that were responsible for the leak. The U.S. Attorney's Office response is essentially, hey, we know what we did. We can't really speak for them, but everything we've seen indicates that it wasn't DHS either. But that is the defense's theory. So gag orders are generally uncommon in the run-of-the-mill criminal case, but in a high-profile case like this, it's not that unusual to see them. They always raise constitutional issues, but still, they're relatively rare. And in this case, not that much of a surprise.
The defense also appears to be implying the case is racially motivated. What does this tell us about the case they might present? How hard is it to prove that?
I think it doesn't tell us much about the case they'll present in court. It tells us a lot about their theory that they might present at a podium, at a press conference. But here's the problem. If you're going to use a racial discrimination theory as a defense, you're going to need evidence. And the problem for Diddy is that once complainants start coming in and talking about their being victimized, I don't think the jury is really going to be receptive to a race argument at that point.
All right, Danny Ceballos, a lot to discuss. Thank you so much. Coming up, sports commissioners teaming up against hate. When we come back, the first of its kind campaign with a message much bigger than sports. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. If you watched last night's 49ers-Seahawks game, you may have seen a commercial promoting a powerful message supported by the NFL and other major sports leagues. It's because their commissioners have teamed up to spearhead a new campaign against hate and intolerance. Today, anchor Craig Melvin sat down with some of them to discuss this first-of-its-kind campaign.
The professional sports community calling on all Americans to take a timeout.
Things are getting out of control out there.
It's part of a new ad campaign called Timeout Against Hate, featuring sports figures urging people to pause and regroup in the fight against intolerance.
Hate is winning out there.
The message powerful enough to prompt a rare sight. Patriots owner Robert Kraft, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, National Women's Soccer League Commissioner Jessica Berman, and NBA Commissioner Adam Silver all in the same room.
Why do people call a timeout during a game? They call it because they have to regroup. They're not winning. Something bad is going on that has to be corrected or fixed. And that was our thinking here.
The campaign is the brainchild of Kraft, who initially launched his foundation to combat anti-Semitism 5 years ago. Back in January, Kraft joined the commissioners of the NFL, the NBA, the WNBA, Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, the National Women's Soccer League, the National Hockey League, and NASCAR, all for a special closed-door meeting to address expanding his mission.
Take us inside that room. What was said? What was done?
I think all of us came to learn and to get educated on what's really going on in our society. And as Robert says, with hate across all boundaries.
A recognition that hate is a contagion. It's not just about the person or the group that it's directed at. That it's harmful to society at large.
We, I think, all feel very privileged to work in the sports industry, which we all know has the power to change the world. And I think we all share a responsibility to use that platform to bring people together and to help people to understand the humanity that connects us all.
I call a timeout on hate.
The timeout ad will play in commercials across all the major sports leagues for the rest of the year. Fans will also see it at games and online.
Commissioner Goodell, when folks watch this timeout ad, what do you hope they take away from it?
I hope people will stop and just think for a moment, as timeout indicates, and think about other people's perspectives.
Jessica, what would you say to those folks who might see this ad and they would say, gosh, I watch sports to get away from all the terrible stuff that's happening in the world. I don't need to be reminded of it during a commercial break.
The fact that people are seeking out sports as a convener, as a way to spend their time, gives me hope that the way people are showing up is actually not how they would want to show up. And if they could take a time out and see themselves in the values, they would show up differently.
Our locker rooms are that microcosm. People come together in those locker rooms from all kinds of backgrounds, and their job is to work together to win. So it's bigger than any individual and anyone's background. It's understanding that together we can be better.
This timeout campaign is being launched as many of America's biggest sports go global, trying to unite an even bigger audience through their love of these games.
The overwhelming majority of the last 5 or 6 MVPs have been international players.
Right.
It appears as if this is going to be a trend that continues in the NBA, more international players. What does that mean for the league moving forward?
It's amazing how those international players are welcomed into their markets as if they grew up there. You know, whether it's, Luka Doncic in Dallas or, Giannis or the Joker in Denver, they become part and parcel as communities. I think they just demonstrate what we can do through sports.
On that note, you guys are going to be in London this weekend. You started the season in Brazil. You're going to be in Germany later in the season. What's behind this drive for global outreach in the NFL?
I think it's to share our game with the world.
Overseas franchise at some point here in the near future?
It's certainly possible. I think that, we're not working specifically on that plan.
For now, the playbook calls for unity at home.
We're here to help make our world a better world and leave our kids a better world. That's what we're doing.
Our thanks to Craig Melvin for that report. Patriots owner Robert Kraft says he hopes people who are afraid to speak out for unity will see the ad and be inspired. Coming up, good news and bad news when it comes to the economy. Inflation is cooling, but not quite as much as expected. We're going to break down the data and how it could impact you. Stay with us. This is Morning News Now. We're back now with economic news. Stock markets closed lower on Thursday after September inflation came in slightly higher than expected. Inflation rose by 0.2% month over month and 2.4% year over year. And in a separate report, jobless claims also came in higher than expected for last week. The data comes nearly a month after the Federal Reserve slashed interest rates by 0.5 percentage point, the first cut in 4 years. Joining us now, editor-in-chief at Investopedia, Caleb Silver. Caleb, good to have you with us. So it looks like investors were a little disappointed by this latest round of economic data. Why is that? Should we be worried?
We should not be worried. The stock market is at a really close to record highs right now, and inflation data is going to be lumpy just because prices are lumpy, especially when you have supply chain disruptions. And we've had them in the form of hurricanes. We've had them in the form of a potential port strike. So you get lumpy numbers there. And the rise in inflation was mostly due to shelter and insurance, two things we can't get away from, but two things that are tightly controlled by supply and demand. So I wouldn't get too excited about that. The fact that investors may have sold off yesterday, there's plenty of reasons to sell, but they've been sitting on some massive gains so far this year, and the trend is usually more higher highs after higher highs.
So, Caleb, as far as the Federal Reserve is concerned, does this data change any expectations for more interest rate cuts in November and then beyond?
Yeah, we have that Fed meeting right after the election, November 7th, and the overwhelming thought is that the Fed will cut rates again, maybe a quarter point, but there is one more meeting before the end of the year in December. They may cut then as well. They're not going to look at the data out from yesterday or the producer price index, which is coming out at 8:30 this morning, and say, maybe we should or maybe we shouldn't. They're going to look at the impact of those half a point cuts that they made at the last meeting and see if that really slowed down the labor market. You bring up weekly jobless claims. Well, weekly jobless claims also impacted by the fact that we've had a couple of hurricanes right now. We had a potential strike. We have the machinist strike at Boeing. That causes furloughs in other places. You want to look at the moving trend here. If that number starts to get higher week after week, that could be a warning sign that the Fed may have to do something a little bit more extreme. But right now, this is the soft landing that the Fed was hoping for, and it's going to be a little lumpy, especially with inflation, because prices do go up and down. They're just not coming down very fast.
You mentioned the jobless claims. You mentioned Helene. So the question now is, after Hurricane Milton, could that have an impact on some of the job data we see moving forward?
For sure. And that doesn't mean people are going to get laid off, but folks that are connected to the workforce, whether they're contractors, whether they work for companies that had to shut down because of the hurricane, and maybe they're on temporary layoff, they may report unemployment claims, and that could drive that number higher. So we've had a lot of supply chain impacts. We've had a lot of impacts just to the way we do business in this country because of these storms, and obviously because of the potential strikes. That's going to impact those weekly numbers, but you want to watch the trend. And the trend we saw last month, Joe, was that unemployment fell from 4.2% to 4.1%. We're really close to full employment right now. The economy is growing, and so that's a good sign. It just, these things are unpredictable. When we have hurricanes, you just don't know what's going to happen to the weekly numbers.
So just big picture, what does all this mean for everyday Americans who are managing their bills and their finances?
Don't expect prices to come tumbling down the mountain. We have seen retailers start to cut prices as consumers have become more sensitive, but don't expect inflation to turn into deflation all of a sudden, and you don't want that anyway. So expect prices to remain somewhat stable here around 2.5%. But the good news is, as rates come down, you're going to have, it's going to be cheaper to borrow money. Your credit card APRs are going to come down. Mortgage rates are going to come down. You just might earn less in the bank. But this is kind of where the economy is going to be through the rest of the year and even into next year. It doesn't matter who's president.
All right, Caleb Silver, have a good weekend, my friend. More financial headlines now. Marriott is shelling out big bucks to settle multiple data breaches that affected millions of customers. CNBC's Silvana Henao has that and more money headlines. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning and happy Friday. That's right. So Marriott has agreed to pay more than $50 million and make changes to its network security to settle state and federal claims related to several data breaches that affected more than 300 million customers worldwide. Now, the three data breaches, these took place between 2014 and 2020 with hackers accessing passport information, payment and loyalty card numbers, dates of birth, email addresses, and other personal information. The Federal Trade Commission claims Marriott and its Starwood Hotels brand failed to secure its computer system with appropriate password controls and network monitoring. Boeing is filing an unfair labor practice complaint against the striking machinists union with the National Labor Relations Board. The company accusing the union, which represents more than 30,000 factory workers on the West Coast, of not bargaining in good faith. Now, Boeing pulled its latest contract offer earlier this week, citing the union's refusal to seriously consider its proposal. The strike is entering its 5th week, putting more financial pressure on the aircraft maker. And Venmo is adding the ability to schedule both payments and requests, which has been a long requested feature. People can use the tool to send out one-time payments and schedule them to go out monthly, weekly, or bi-weekly. Now, users will get a reminder the day before a payment goes out, just in case you don't have enough funds in your account, Joe.
I'm surprised they didn't have that already.
Right, I see.
All right.
But I'm sure it's going to come to use.
Exactly. Savannah, thank you so much.
Sure.
Our next story is a perfect example of why you should not feed wild animals. A Washington woman had to call for help after a swarm of hungry raccoons invaded her property. Reporter Maddie White from our affiliate in Seattle, King TV, has that story.
35 years ago, you first started feeding some raccoons.
A Poulsbo woman called 911 after her home was surrounded by raccoons.
And then when all of a sudden did it explode like this?
6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago.
She told deputies she'd been leaving food out for the raccoons since the 1980s. Among the raccoon population here in Poulsbo, word got out about the midnight all-you-can-eat buffet. By October 3rd, nearly 100 of them had invaded the woman's property, deputies tell us, swarming around her home night and day. Even neighbors like Wendy Kronk,
I'd say it's been about the last month or so I've noticed it,
are also seeing an uptick.
I've had several raccoons in the yard recently. My dogs have gotten in a scuffle several times with raccoons. I even had to take one of my dogs to the vet after tussling with a raccoon. And I've also noticed there's been a lot more hit raccoons up on the main road here.
Trapping and relocating these furry felons will cost the woman $500 per raccoon. Deputies say she's concerned. Kronk hopes it gets resolved soon.
I do hope that somebody steps in and helps her, take care of this problem, and hopefully she'll quit doing it.
Maddie White, thank you so much. Deputies are urging people to not feed wild animals because it can be both unhealthy for them and dangerous for you. The woman was referred to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife to find a solution. Coming up, football and a fiesta. When we come back, we're going to take you to Los Angeles, where a band is bringing the sound of home to the LA Rams' home turf. Stay with us. You're watching Morning News Now. Welcome back. Were you one of the lucky ones who caught last night's rare sighting of the Northern Lights? It was a dazzling display of color that turned the sky into a kind of canvas. Breathtaking bursts of pink and purple captivated viewers nationwide, as far south as, get this, Texas. This wild eruption of color is all because of something called a solar storm. Now, stick around. We've got an expert joining us in the next hour to help break down exactly what that means. But with all this difficult weather coverage lately, this does seem like a small reminder that rainbows really do come after the rain. All month long, we are celebrating Hispanic heritage here. NBC News Now anchor Gotti Schwartz introduces us to a family in Southern California that's keeping the joy of mariachi alive on the football field and off.
In Los Angeles, football can sound a little different.
My mama talking to me, tried to tell me how to live.
But to the legions of LA Rams fans with Mexican heritage, this is the sound of home.
Mariachi is, I think, the pride and the passion of Mexico. It's a source of pride. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. Once you hear, ay, 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 canta y no llores. If you're Mexican,
you're standing up.
Oh, you're standing up and you're
standing
singing.
up and you're getting your lungs ready.
Exactly.
Jose Hernandez is the founder of the official team-sanctioned Mariachi Rams that you might have caught on NFL broadcasts.
We are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month in style with the Mariachi Rams.
They're like rock stars at SoFi Stadium.
For Hernandez, mariachi is in his blood. 8 generations of his family have made this music, including his daughter, Maria Crystal.
This music was passed down from father to son, you know, son to grandson, whatever. Just passed down generation through generation.
He's the leader of the groundbreaking group Sol de Mexico. He also founded the first ever American female mariachi group, Reina Mariachi de Los Angeles. They just celebrated their 30-year anniversary.
It was a huge novelty, you know, for the people to see an all-female group at a professional level. Men, for many years, they'd say, that's women, mariachis, they're not serious, you know, but these girls are serious.
Until the trumpets start, right?
Yeah, exactly.
To Crystal, nothing says love like the sound of a mariachi serenade.
Every single event that the mariachis go to is super special because sometimes it'll be a surprise for a grandma or a mom, and we're walking in, we're playing Las Mañanitas, and they'll just start crying because they know how special it is to have a mariachi come serenade your loved one. I mean, that is like the most special thing in the world.
What do you think your great-great-grandfather would have thought hearing your daughter?
It's very hard to say because in the old days, they never really, it wasn't even in the plan for women to be mariachis.
My grandpa was a violin player, and so I play one of his violins. I have a great sense of pride, and it's very special for me to get to learn the music that he played for so many years.
Crystal passing that style on to the next generation at the Mariachi Heritage Society, founded by her father, now in 30 schools nationwide.
I'm explaining to these kids what mariachi music is. It's representing Mexico. It's like seeing the Mexican flag, and that it's something to be very proud of.
The music is for everyone, and it truly is a universal language.
A language spoken fluently at SoFi Stadium. Connie Schwartz, NBC News.
Universal language. I love that. That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us. The news continues right now. Good morning. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is off on this Friday. Right now on Morning News Now, destruction and devastation in the aftermath of both Milton and Helene. Millions in Florida now picking up the pieces after that 1-2 hurricane punch decimated communities across the state. This morning, Milton's death toll climbing to at least 16. Now the race is on to find those still missing. We are on the ground with the very latest on those efforts in just a moment. Also this morning, a battleground state bump for Vice President Harris, bringing out former President Obama for his first rally of the campaign last night in Pennsylvania.
What I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you, Pennsylvania. I don't understand that.
We've got much more from the trail as former President Trump heads out west with immigration expected to be in the spotlight. Plus, tragedy at a popular tourist destination in Colorado. One person is dead after an elevator in an old gold mine malfunctioned, leaving more than 20 people stuck hundreds of feet underground. Now, first responders were able to get them to safety. And keep your eye on the sky. The positively stunning pics are flooding social media. But what exactly caused the northern lights to migrate south last night? We're digging into the special solar spectacle later in the hour. We start this morning in Florida. At least 16 people are dead after Hurricane Milton pummeled the central part of the state. More than 2 million homes and businesses are still without power, while rescue teams race to help hundreds of people who are trapped by floodwaters. The path of destruction stretches from coast to coast, entire neighborhoods underwater, and countless homes destroyed. Now cleanup is underway as communities start to rebuild after 2 back-to-back monster storms. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk is on the ground in Tampa. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. I'm at one of those neighborhoods that is still underwater. It took the brunt of nearly a foot of rain, and it caught a lot of people here by surprise. We were here most of the day yesterday and watched rescues well into the evening. That's likely to occur again over the course of today. The water's going down a little bit, but really not fast enough. It needs to recede all the way for the cleanup to even begin.
This morning, the tragic aftermath of Milton coming into focus. The powerful hurricane leaving devastation statewide. In hard-hit Minnesota Key, homes ripped off their foundations, while in Daytona Beach, whole communities swallowed by flooding. In Sarasota, washed up boats and debris littering the streets.
The storm was significant, but thankfully, this was not the worst-case scenario.
Still, all across Florida, before and after pictures telling the story. This morning, millions without power remain in the dark. At least 9 cities experiencing record rainfall. First responders helping hundreds during the hurricane. More than 500 people rescued from this flooded apartment complex in Clearwater. A 14-year-old boy floating on debris in Hillsborough County, saved. And the Coast Guard rescuing a man miles offshore, clinging to a cooler. In Tampa, some neighborhoods still inundated with water.
Are you surprised to see this amount of water in this neighborhood?
Yes, at this level. It floods every year, but never this high.
Rescuers going door to door, finding this woman in her 90s who struggles to see in a flooded home all alone.
She was scared and didn't want to leave, and they finally just convinced her to get on the boat and get out of harm's way.
Many residents in Milton's path prepared for the hurricane, but were overwhelmed by a string of tornadoes it spawned.
Walked outside and annihilated, the neighborhood annihilated.
According to initial reports, at least 38 tornadoes touched down. From above Port St. Lucie, you can see homes and everything in them shredded. There were 6 fatalities alone from a tornado that struck Fort Pierce. But as Floridians pick up the pieces, despite being traumatized by hurricane after hurricane, many residents say they're committed to rebuilding.
The priority, obviously, Joe, is going to be going after and trying to help these people that might still need rescues in flooded homes. But once that is done, the focus is going to be on all of these logistical challenges. You still have 2.4 million people without power. You have here in Naples a critical water pump that still needs to go online. And also the people in a neighborhood like this one. This is a low-income neighborhood in Tampa. They need places to live, not just today or tomorrow, but in the weeks and months to come, Joe.
Important points all there. Stephanie, thank you so much. Now, authorities have reopened access to some of the barrier islands that took a direct hit from Hurricane Milton. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock got a first-hand look at some of the extensive damage.
Hi there. Hurricane Milton now marks the 5th time that Fort Myers Beach has been impacted by a hurricane in the last 2 years. Now, we're not talking about the levels of damage that we saw from Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago, but still, Milton did enough to rip off parts of roofs and dump so much sand onto the streets here that officials had to plow it into giant mounds. We are having conversations with people who have had to rebuild for the 2nd, 3rd, and in some cases, even 4th time.
Florida this morning, reeling and collecting itself after Hurricane Milton tore through, unleashing at least 38 confirmed tornadoes, heavy winds, and driving rains, prompting hundreds of water rescues. There was also damaging flooding from storm surge, including in the state's barrier islands. A line of cars waiting for hours on Thursday for the slow drive through Fort Myers Beach. The barrier island frequently forced to deal with more flooding, storm surge, and damage than less exposed parts of Florida's coast.
I thought that by boarding it up, everything would have stayed inside.
But Crystal Shola, who moved from Rhode Island years ago and lost a previous home during Hurricane Ian, was in for a rude awakening, with Milton tearing off part of her new roof and damaging building materials in her house.
We all help each other, and the fact that we all love it here so much that, we just keep doing it,
We toured the island with the mayor of Fort Myers Beach, Dan Allard.
You've seen a pandemic and how many hurricanes?
This is our 5th one.
He showed us this house that was being rebuilt and then lifted off its foundation.
Can you salvage what we're looking at right now?
I don't know. If you look, you can see everything is kind of leaning to the right. I don't know how much of that's going to be salvageable.
Nearby Sanibel Island, which still has no power or water, had lines and checkpoints for residents eager to see how their homes fared. That island's small causeway ruptured 2 years ago by Ian. This is the harsh reality of living in a seaside paradise. It's a risk-reward trade-off that some residents are willing to live with.
You live here for paradise, but you got to take this bad. But this has been a string of bad luck, right? Just a string of bad luck.
Hurricane Milton is also the 5th U.S. Gulf Coast hurricane to make landfall this season. That ties for 2nd most all time with 2005 and 2020. The previous record, 1886, when 7 hurricanes made landfall. In Fort Myers Beach, Sam Brock, NBC News. Back to you.
All right, Sam, thank you. Let's bring in Gene Brown. He is the mayor of Bradenton, Florida, just north of Sarasota, a place we've been talking about all week long. Mr. Mayor, good to have you with us. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us. I know it's incredibly busy right now. We're more than 24 hours out from Milton. Just what are you seeing on the ground right now?
Well, thank you for having me, and it's important to get out to our residents about safety. And that's what we're seeing. A lot of traffic lights still either hanging close to the road or on the road. And, we're getting them cleared. But people think about power. They think their house is out. And obviously, some people are already getting frustrated because power is life to us. But power is also the safety of our lights and everything with traffic lights. So please be safe when you're traveling. We heard about a death already that occurred from one of the
public workers that's in another county, but he was out trying to get roads cleared and unfortunately got hit by a car. And we don't want that.
You've been issuing that warning for days now. Other leaders have been doing the same thing. Are people listening to you? Do you feel like most people are heeding that warning, or are you seeing too many people out driving around right now?
Well, I think most people are listening, but there's still too many people out driving. And you know, now is about recovery. And you said, we're only 24 hours out. So we were fortunate that we didn't get the direct hit, but we have a lot of damage. Our county, our city, everyone's going out today to try to clear the roads, but we don't want any fatalities after the storm.
You do have a lot of damage, so as the cleanup and the rebuilding get underway, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge in your city?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is going to be patience for our citizens, because as we know, you know, everybody wants to get back to normal, and this is going to be months that we're going to have to be dealing with trees that, you know, are 100 years old that fell, that are huge, and getting the power back. Florida Power and Light's doing a great job. We had 250,000+ people in our community. They're down to 140 now. If it's you, you're very frustrated because you want to try to get back. And so I think it's going to come to the point where patience is going to be very important, because we don't want any injuries after the storm. I mean, my thing before the storm was get to shelter and be safe. We have not found any deaths in Manatee County yet, in the city of Bradenton, but it's going to be patience.
One of the other things we talked about in the days leading up to Milton was all of that leftover debris from Hurricane Helene, worries about it blowing around. Was that a huge concern in the end? What ended up happening with all that debris?
Well, we had gotten the lion's majority of our off of our city streets and where the river was. And but we had taken it to some landfill and one of the sites that FEMA would keep. It didn't hardly blow any. So it was amazing that the debris stayed where it was, and that was a good thing. So, but now it's going to be important. We're going to have a lot more debris. We're going to have a lot more yard debris, and we're going to start picking that up as soon as possible. We brought in an incident management team. They came in from Escambia that's going to help our city clean that up. There's 2 other teams here at our Public Safety Operations Center that are doing Bradenton Beach and Holmes Beach. So we're working to get this as quick as possible, and that's going to, you know, take time, but it's going to happen.
What is your top message to people in your city right now?
I would just say, please, if you're out cutting trees down, if you're out around, watch for power lines. Be careful. Don't do something that puts your life in jeopardy even after the storm, because we know a lot of times more people die after the storm than during the storm because of accidents. And that's going to be the most important. Accidents, try to avoid, and be patient as we get through this together, because we're going to say it, we're Bradenton strong and we'll survive, but we've got to work together.
Good message there. Mayor Gene Brown, thank you for your time this morning. We're thinking of you and your community in the coming days and weeks.
Thank you. God bless.
Let's get a check on your morning news now weather. Parts now of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic are bracing for a fall cool down, which I can assure you I felt this morning. Meteorologist Angie Lassman is here with the latest on freeze alerts. Really? Freeze alerts?
I'm not ready, Joe. And honestly, I wasn't ready this morning when I stepped out the door and thought, I don't want to bring my coat with me. Don't be like me. You want it. You do need the coat. We've got the freeze alerts, the frost advisories, the freeze warnings. They are up for 25 million people. They stretch from the East Coast all the way into portions of Ohio. And these are going to be with us through the morning hours, because our temperatures have dipped down into the 30s in some instances and into the low 40s in some spots too. State College at 39. We've got Pittsburgh right now at 37 degrees. Just into those low 40s for Cleveland, and even out east, we've got Philadelphia topping out this morning at about 47 degrees. So stepping out the door, the extra layer, it's going to go a long way if you live in that little sliver of the country, because elsewhere it is a much different story. We've got temperatures well into the 90s in some spots. Look at Las Vegas as we get into this afternoon, 98 degrees. We are running way warm for this time of year. I feel like a broken record when I say that, because I think that's been just the trend over most of summer and fall, to be honest, so far. We've got Phoenix expected to head to the triple digits once more today, 104 for your afternoon temperature there. And even all of this heat kind of confined across parts of the Great Lakes and the Midwest. Midwest, we've got 85 for St. Louis today, mid-80s in parts of Kansas and Nebraska. We've got low 80s for Madison, Wisconsin. So these temperatures, not where we should be for this time of year, but unfortunately, it's what we're going to get. If you're looking for that cooler air, it doesn't arrive even as we get into tomorrow for this part of the country. We've got upper 80s for St. Louis, 90 for Oklahoma City and Little Rock, 96 for Lubbock. I mean, the heat is going to be there. It'll feel like summer across this region. Even as far east as Cincinnati, we'll still see temperatures into the 80s as you get out the door for your Saturday plans. But if you wait long enough, we'll see temperatures kind of start to get back where they should be for this time of year. We'll end up into the upper 70s by Sunday in St. Louis. And look at this dip that we see, low 60s by Monday and Tuesday for your high temperatures. We see a little bit of the cool down happening in parts of the Great Lakes as well. Chicago, you end up into the mid 60s. And then by Monday, a little bit of a rude awakening, 55. That's the highest temperature you're going to see, not just Monday, but on Tuesday afternoon as well. Cleveland has a similar story, too. We'll get back into those mid-50s for next work week. We do hang on to the 80s in Washington, D.C. on Sunday, but notice the upper 60s by Monday and then a big dip by Tuesday. That is your high temperature of just 60 degrees. So fall is on the way here. You just have to wait a little while. Big picture look for your Saturday, not bad. I think a couple of showers maybe across the Ohio Valley, but otherwise there's a whole lot of sunshine in the forecast for your Saturday. It'll be warm, as I mentioned, across most of the country, but overall a nice day. Plenty of time to get outdoors and enjoy that sunshine. That goes for Sunday, too, for most. We'll see some of those thunderstorms across parts of the southern half of the state of Florida. It looks like we'll have a little bit of tropical moisture that'll work in there. But for the most part, the I-4 corridor does look pretty quiet Saturday and even Sunday, maybe a couple of showers there for folks that are still cleaning up. As we get through the next week or so, the good news is tropical lull. I know that's what everybody wants to hear after the very busy kind of couple of weeks that we've had, especially for the state of Florida. It doesn't look like we're going to have a whole lot to watch for with impacts to the United States, but we're going to keep an eye on Tropical Storm Leslie. It'll be a fish storm, so more just watching what's going on there. And then one little area of disturbed weather, Joe, across the coast or off the coast of Africa. Nothing to worry about for us right now. So a bit of a break for everybody. We all need it, I think.
That is good. We definitely need a break right now from the
Yes.
hurricanes. Angie, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Now to the race for the White House. Just 25 days to Election Day, and both Vice President Harris and former President Trump are hitting the campaign trail today. The Harris campaign got a boost last night from former President Barack Obama. He rallied with supporters in the key battleground state of Pennsylvania. Comes as the candidates look for new ways to reach voters. As for former President Trump, he'll be in Colorado today, a state that traditionally leans Democratic. NBC's Garrett Hake has the latest from the campaign trail.
Good morning. Yeah, the campaign action moves out west today with Kamala Harris on the road in Arizona. Donald Trump coming here to Colorado, where he's expected to talk about one of his favorite issues, so-called migrant crime. But it's the return to the campaign trail of a different former president that's getting all the attention this morning. Barack Obama, in his first campaign appearance on behalf of Kamala Harris, coming out with a message specifically for black men. As the race for the White House enters its final sprint, the Harris campaign overnight hitting Donald Trump in two swing states nearly simultaneously, with the vice president stumping in Arizona.
We are the underdog.
Hello, Pittsburgh!
And former President Barack Obama campaigning in Pennsylvania, speaking bluntly about his concerns why some black men may not be supporting Harris.
Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for it.
Then holding his first rally of the campaign, taking on the former president's claim that the economy was stronger on his watch than it is now.
Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy.
And accusing former President Trump of spreading misinformation about the recent hurricanes.
And this has consequences. Because people are afraid. And my question is, when did that become okay? I'm not looking for applause right now. I want to ask Republicans out there, when did that become okay?
Those attacks coming as polls continue to show a neck-and-neck race nationally and in the battleground states. Trump in Michigan Thursday proposing to make interest on car loans fully tax-deductible, which would require congressional action and could boost auto sales.
That's going to revolutionize your industry.
Targeting Harris over trade.
I think Kamala, it's not going to be high on her list I don't think anything that we're talking about today is high on her list.
But also drawing criticism for disparaging the city of Detroit while speaking in Detroit.
It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president. You're going to have a mess on your hands.
Why is that black male demographic so important to Democrats? Donald Trump only won 8% of the black vote overall in 2020. But if he gets 10, 12, 15% this year, that's the kind of thing that could make a huge difference in cities like Philadelphia, Detroit, Milwaukee, that Democrats need to get their candidate over the finish line. It's a battle for him to do just slightly better with a demographic that does not like him. But his numbers have been improving, Joe, and it could be the kind of thing that makes a difference on election night.
All right, Garrett, thank you. A spring trial date is now set for Sean Diddy Combs. The hip-hop mogul is accused of sex trafficking and other charges. Combs appeared in a Manhattan courtroom Thursday alongside his family. His prosecutors indicated even more charges could be coming. NBC News senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett has the latest.
Hey there, good morning. The defense team is actually the one that's been pushing to get this case to trial as fast as possible because any delays mean more time that Combs spends behind bars. But what's proving more heated now? A battle over what prosecutors call a damning piece of evidence, one that the defense team claims was leaked.
Less than a month after being indicted, Sean Diddy Combs now set to go to trial. A federal judge setting a May 5th trial date for the music mogul who remains behind bars, arriving in court Thursday in tan jail clothes. Prosecutors revealing they may file a superseding indictment with new or additional charges against him.
Any message you want to send your father?
Among his supporters in the packed courtroom, Combs' children and mother, who said in a statement on Instagram this week, he is not the monster they have painted him to be. The racketeering and sex trafficking indictment unsealed last month, accusing Combs of abusing women for decades, orchestrating coerced sex parties he allegedly referred to as freak-offs. Prosecutors say he silenced victims through blackmail and violence.
This is a serious proceeding with serious consequences, and all of us are addressing it accordingly.
Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
How's he doing? He's doing fine. He's making an adjustment.
Combs has been behind bars in a Brooklyn jail since his September arrest. His latest bid for immediate release denied by a federal appeals court Thursday, as his legal team continues to appeal his pretrial detention and fight against the looming threat of additional civil suits.
The reason for denying bail was that he might threaten victims, the defendant, and could obstruct justice. Some of them live in fear.
Prosecutors also referencing a mountain of possible evidence, confirming they seized nearly 100 of his electronic devices. Among the possible evidence at trial, this 2016 video first obtained by CNN, showing Combs punching and kicking his former girlfriend, singer Cassie, at an LA hotel.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
But his lawyers now accusing the government of leaking that video, which prosecutors deny, maintaining they didn't have the video before CNN aired it.
The lawyers expect that this trial will eventually take roughly a month, depending on if there is, in fact, that superseding indictment. Everybody is expected back in court in December. Back to you.
All right, Laura, thank you. Much more to come on this Friday edition of Morning News Now, including the special solar spectacle that lit up the sky and social media last night. The special conditions that meant the northern lights were seen as far south as Texas. But first, after the break, a moving royal engagement. Princess Kate returning to public duties for the first time since announcing she had finished chemotherapy. More on her appearance with Prince William next. We're back now with details about a surprising public appearance by Princess Kate, her first official public engagement since announcing she had finished chemotherapy. Kate and Prince William showed their support for a town where 3 children were killed in a knife attack. NBC News international correspondent Megan Fitzgerald is at Buckingham Palace and joins us with more on this. Megan, good morning.
Joe, good morning to you. Look, this was a completely unexpected visit by the Princess of Wales, but not just that, but she and Prince William spent hours with the first responders and family members affected by that day.
A moving and unexpected first engagement by the Princess of Wales in northern England on Thursday. Kate joining her husband William to meet with the heartbroken families of the 3 young girls killed in July at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class. The couple supporting the grieving families in private before discussing mental health
a topic close to both of their hearts with first responders who rushed to the scene on that tragic day.
I can't underestimate the support you are in the life as well. On behalf of them, thank you.
This fragile community thankful for the royal support.
Despite all the challenges they've got, making the effort to come and see frontline people, I think, speaks volumes.
This is the first royal engagement by the Princess of Wales since she announced a gradual return to royal duties after completing chemotherapy treatments in a very personal home movie-style video with her husband and 3 children.
I am, however, looking forward to being back at work and undertaking a few more public engagements.
Last week, she met with a 16-year-old cancer patient at Windsor Castle who shared her own emotional journey with the disease. The princess, a symbol of encouragement and resilience to so many. As she makes a slow comeback to a more normal life, a noticeable shift in the couple's body language.
This week, we did see Catherine putting her hand on William's back. It was very rare in the past if Catherine and William were on a public event that we would see any sort of display of affection.
A refreshing trend 9 months in the making after a devastating start to the year. Kate last seen at Christmas before announcing her cancer diagnosis in March. Then in June, making a surprise appearance at the King's official birthday parade. And Wimbledon in July. The future queen now appearing to focus on better days ahead. And look, as the Princess of Wales continues to feel better, it's absolutely possible that we could continue to see her more frequently. But at this point, the palace has only confirmed that we are expecting to see her at the Remembrance Day ceremony next month. Joe?
No doubt people are looking forward to seeing her as much as humanly possible. Megan, thank you so much. More headlines from around the world now, including a new round of violence in the Middle East. NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lavanga joins us from Rome with that and some other world headlines. Claudio, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. That's right. The health ministry in Lebanon says that at least 22 people were killed and around 117 others were injured in 2 different Israeli airstrikes in Beirut on Thursday. Now, according to the Associated Press, this time the strikes hit the very heart of the Lebanese capital. One hit the lower floors of an 8-story apartment building, while another building in a separate neighborhood collapsed after it was hit, engulfing it into flames. On the same day, the health ministry in Gaza said Israel struck a school, killing at least 28 people and injuring 55 others. Let's go to Taiwan now, where the government said that 4 employees at Foxconn have been detained in China under, and I quote, quite strange circumstances. In a statement, Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council said the employees of the world's largest iPhone assembler, which has its headquarters in Taiwan, were detained on suspicion of the equivalent of breach of trust, but say the case may be connected to corruption and abuse of power by a small number of Chinese security officials. And let's end this tour of the world in Norway, where the Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to Nihon Hidankyo, a grassroots Japanese group formed by survivors of the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. The Nobel Committee said they awarded the organization for its effort to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons and for demonstrating through witness testimony that nuclear weapons must never be used again. Following the announcement of the prize, the co-head of the organization, Toshiyuki Mimaki, said, "When I saw the children in Gaza being carried covered in blood, it was the same as Japan 80 years ago. The images of a love." Back to you, John.
Congratulations to them. Claudio, thank you so much. Coming up, tragedy playing out at a popular tourist destination in Colorado. One person is dead after an elevator malfunctioned inside an old gold mine, trapping more than 20 people hundreds of feet below the surface. First responders were able to bring them to safety. Next. There is some relief this morning after a tragic accident at a Colorado tourist attraction. More than 20 people were rescued after becoming trapped deep inside a gold mine yesterday. They got stuck there for hours after the elevator that was supposed to shuttle visitors in and out malfunctioned. Sadly, one person did die. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz is in Cripple Creek where it happened. Liz, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning to you. Yeah, this was a really terrifying ordeal here. This is a popular tourist destination. This gold mine here has been hosting and offering tours for decades. Families, people from around the country come here to experience it, but it really turned into a nightmare when the elevator inside malfunctioned, killing one person and trapping a dozen others 1,000 feet underground.
This morning, authorities investigating what happened at a popular Colorado tourist attraction after a frightening incident deep underground left one person dead when an elevator malfunctioned inside an old gold mine.
Tellers requesting assistance to shut down a road for an incident with an elevator.
More than 20 people were rescued, many trapped in the mine for hours.
45 minutes ago, we were able to get the last person out of the 1,000-foot level of the mine.
It happened Thursday afternoon at the historic Molly Kathleen gold mine. Officials say the elevator broke about 500 feet down with a group of tourists inside it. One of those people died. First responders quickly rescued the other riders, including 2 children, by pulling the elevator back up. 4 received medical attention for minor injuries. Another tour group already in the mine remained trapped for nearly 7 hours, 1,000 feet underground.
They're drinking water, they have chairs, they have blankets, they have what they need for now.
Officials communicating with the group by radio. According to the website for the family-run company, the tours typically last an hour. Temperatures inside about 50 degrees. Groups are packed into a thin elevator shaft where they make a 2-minute descent about 100 stories underground to explore the now defunct mine. First responders were able to repair the elevator shaft and rescue the remaining people, but say if that didn't work, they were prepared to pull them out with ropes.
They all came up very safely, 4 at a time, so we could get them through the surface. And they're all in good spirits. We fed them pizza.
Overnight, Colorado's governor praising the response, saying in his statement he is relieved those trapped made it out safely, while offering condolences to the family and friends of the person who was lost.
Now, there's still so many questions here. Officials have not said what caused the elevator to malfunction. We don't know if it crashed, if it hit something. We also don't know when it was last inspected. Officials have also not released the identity of the victim. They do say that the folks who were trapped 1,000 feet underground, those are tourists who were visiting from out of state. As the investigation continues, we have reached out to the gold mine company here. We have not yet heard back. Joe.
Right. Liz, thank you so much. This morning, we are celebrating the life and legacy of Ethel Kennedy, the matriarch of a legendary political family dynasty. Her grandson, Joe Kennedy III, announced she passed away yesterday at the age of 96, saying she died of complications after she suffered a stroke last week. He says the family is comforted knowing Ethel is now reunited with the love of her life, Robert F. Kennedy.
Ethel Kennedy is being remembered as the matriarch of a dynasty. She joined the Kennedy family in 1950 when she married Robert F. Kennedy, making the future President John and future Senator Ted her brothers-in-law. Together, Ethel and Bobby had 11 kids, 7 boys and 4 girls. President Biden says Ethel was an American icon, an emblem of resilience and service, while former President Obama called her a dear friend with a passion for justice, an irrepressible spirit, and a great sense of humor. His admiration clear 10 years ago when Ethel was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her lifetime of public service.
There's always something just around the corner that if you see something wrong, if you speak out, you can change it.
Ethel consoled Bobby in 1963 when JFK was shot and killed. Yet the tragedy did not dissuade her from encouraging her husband to run for president in 1968, a campaign that ended tragically when Bobby was assassinated with Ethel at his side, a moment that was always hard to talk about.
There's the difficult part, but then there's also the wonderful part, you know, to remember what he stood for.
That legacy inspired Ethel to found the Robert F. Kennedy Center for Justice and Human Rights in 1968. A couple years later on Today, she was asked about keeping the Kennedy name alive in politics.
Would you want the children to go into politics?
Yes, I think it'd be wonderful.
Really? You still have that feeling about the whole political life?
Well, I think it's the way to make the most effective contribution. Yes, I do.
Her family listened. Kathleen Kennedy Townsend was Lieutenant Governor of Maryland, while son Joe Jr. and grandson Joe III were both elected to Congress. But most recently, her son RFK Jr. outraged the family when he ended his presidential run and endorsed former President Trump. For Ethel, it was a life filled with incredible accomplishments and heartbreaking tragedy. Her parents were killed in a plane crash in 1955, and she lost two sons, David to a drug overdose, Michael in a skiing accident. Yet Ethel Kennedy remained a positive force, cementing her legacy while honoring her husband's.
I mean, he really felt strongly about things, and he got involved with them. He was a good man.
In addition to her kids, Ethel Kennedy leaves behind 34 grandchildren, 24 great-grandchildren, and numerous nephews and nieces. Coming up, could this be the future of driving? After the break, more on Tesla's new fully self-driving Robo taxi, unveiled overnight by Elon Musk. But when might we actually see them racking up fares? We'll take a closer look next. Welcome back. Let's get to some financial headlines. Airbus's CEO is weighing in on Boeing's workers' strike. CNBC's Silvana Henao has that and some other dollar sign headlines. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning to you. Yes, so Airbus says it's keeping an eye on the strike by Boeing's factory workers, but it hasn't yet seen a direct impact on parts being delivered by suppliers used by both companies. Now, Reuters reported this week Airbus is facing issues with production of key parts made by Spirit Aerosystems for the A350 and A220 jets. Spirit is Boeing's largest supplier. Airbus says Spirit's production levels aren't where it would like, and it's sent dozens of workers to Spirit factories to improve the situation. AMD is launching a new artificial intelligence chip to potentially rival NVIDIA's flagship processor Blackwell. The Instinct chip is expected to go into production by the end of this year. Now, if developers and cloud computing companies see AMD's chip as a close substitute, it could put pricing pressure on NVIDIA, which has dominated the market for AI data centers. AMD didn't reveal any new major customers, but it's previously said Meta and Microsoft buy its AI chips. And Ticketmaster is the first ticketing company to use the upgraded Apple Wallet tickets in iOS 18. You'll now be able to see event information such as a map of the venue and parking. You can also get recommended playlists from Apple Music, local weather forecasts, and location sharing to help find your friends when they arrive. Now, I have a concert next Saturday, so I'm excited to use this feature.
It's a good idea. Now, if we could only just get cell service when you're at a concert.
That would be great.
That's the next step. All right, Silvana, thank you so much. Sure. Now to a big announcement from Elon Musk. The Tesla CEO held an event last night unveiling his future for the future, which includes a self-driving cyber cab. NBC News correspondent, News Now anchor Gadi Schwartz has all the details.
At Tesla's We Robot event in LA overnight, a glimpse at what could be the future of driving.
We have 50 fully autonomous cars here tonight.
CEO Elon Musk unveiling what he says is the company's first fully self-driving robo-taxi. The two-door cab with no steering wheel and no pedals is powered by AI and will cost around $30,000.
We'll see autonomous cars become 10 times safer than a human.
The new car is expected to hit the road by 2027. Musk also announcing a robo-van that can carry up to 20 people.
The future should look like the future. Now, can you imagine going down the streets and you see this coming towards you?
And that wasn't all.
So you could have your own personal R2-D2 C-3PO.
Check out Tesla humanoid robot Optimus.
It can do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn.
It's the first product launch for Tesla since the Cybertruck was announced with a bang in 2019.
Oh, my God.
Thursday's event marking a milestone for the automaker and Musk, whose self-driving dreams have been delayed by almost a decade. Today, Teslas with full self-driving capabilities still need a human in the driver's seat, ready to take the wheel if something goes wrong.
You must be fully attentive and have your hands on the wheel at all times while driving.
And even that tech is under scrutiny. Earlier this year, federal regulators said a critical safety gap in Tesla's self-driving systems contributed to at least 467 collisions, including 14 deaths. Now Tesla's Taxi is veering the company into a lane with stiff competition.
It's just me and the steering wheel here.
Google's Waymo cars have now logged more than 22 million driverless miles across 4 cities. But Tesla already has the highest-selling EV in the world.
Let's get the party started.
And with its new ride, the company could go into overdrive.
And Joe, obviously there are still a lot of big questions. First, whether the robo-taxis will be made in time. New Tesla models kind of have a track record of a lot of delays and changes. And once the Cybercab is ready to go, regulators still need to give it the green light. So at this point, all dates, including for Optimus, the robot there, seem to be optimistic.
All right. Sounds good, Gotti. Thank you so much. A dazzling display overnight, skies lit up across the world, including right here in the U.S. A massive solar storm hit the Earth, triggering the northern lights to flare for hours. Now, if you were somewhere dark enough with clear enough skies, you may have caught a glimpse of something just like this stunning red and green sky caught on time-lapse video in Portland, Maine. And these shots of the skies in New Jersey were captured by Morning News Now's very own director, Regina, and her friend, Lindsay Yanizelli. I want to bring in Jana Levin. She is the Claire Tow Professor of Physics and Astronomy at Barnard College. Good to have you with us, Professor. So, first of all, just how strong was this solar storm, and where did Americans actually get to see the northern lights?
Well, let's start with the strength of the storm. It was very strong. We're actually near a maximum of the sun's 11-year cycle. So this doesn't happen all the time. And the Space Weather Prediction Center saw what's called a coronal mass ejection, which is billions of tons of hot magnetized plasma launched at the Earth at 1.5 million miles an hour. So it was really substantial, what was coming our way when they made the announcement. And there was a concern that it would be G5, which is the maximum, extreme, when it strikes the Earth. But it was downgraded, I think, to G4 was the most that we saw. And that determines how far you get to see it, how low the latitudes are where you get to see the consequence of this hot plasma striking our magnetic field and interacting with the oxygen and nitrogen and elements in our atmosphere. And that's what creates the beautiful colors and the beautiful lights, which we usually only see at the poles. So the fact that we saw it so far low down is a direct consequence of the power of the storm. But it didn't make it all the way to Florida, which would have been a G5.
That would have been cool. But for a lot of people here in the U.S., this might have been their first time seeing the aurora. Was this sort of like a once-in-a-lifetime event?
Well, it's every 11 years that this starts to happen. So we saw a pretty interesting set of northern lights making it all the way down south in May, part of the same peak of the cycle. The peak of the cycle could last into 2025, but could last all the way through 2025. So hopefully we'll see this kind of excitement happening over the next few months.
We think of something like this as pretty rare. People usually travel far north to try and catch a glimpse of it. Talk more about how come we're seeing more northern lights here in the U.S. lately.
Well, it really is because of this peak of the solar cycle having so much activity in the sun, magnetic activity, that it is more likely for it to lob these huge mass ejections our way. And that's what that kind of energy of impact going 1.5 million miles an hour, when it strikes the magnetic field, it allows it to make it all the way down the poles and down towards the southern latitudes. And when it's interacting with the elements in the atmosphere, we get to see these lights. I can imagine still, if you were by the poles, if you had traveled further north, you would see something even more spectacular, where the energy was even higher and even more elements are ionized, and you get to see richer display of colors. Okay, but I expect we're going to see more of this.
I was just going to say, let's take a trip farther north then. Jump in the car and head up there.
You get a couple of days warning when they see these ejections and flares and storms coming. So yeah, you could travel north.
I do want to ask, NOAA put out an alert warning people that solar storms can potentially disrupt things like communications systems. You mentioned Florida. Right now we've got a lot of emergency response operations going on in Florida after the hurricane. So what kind of impact could something like this have on communications?
Yeah, it can have a very strong impact, first of all, on satellites orbiting around the Earth, or those further out that are less protected by the magnetic field can definitely be affected, as can our power grids. And so I think there was a concern with all the pressure on the power grids already due to Hurricane Milton that this storm, had it reached G5, the extreme status, that it could really knock out the remaining power that's needed right now in Florida. It would go that far down. And it seems to have skipped that this time right now. But we have seen that before in the past. In 1989, there were blackouts and power grids taken down by a peak geomagnetic storm.
I have to ask, did you get a chance to check it out?
You know, I live in New York City. I did go out late at night and looked up, and I saw the city lights. Unfortunately, it was not dark enough for me to get a glimpse of the aurora.
For those who wish they could have seen it last night and were a little disappointed, what's your message to them?
Well, I think they're going to have another opportunity over the next few months during this maximum. It seems like a really powerful maximum, actually. They're not always this energetic, and we did see a pretty dramatic storm in May, and I think we're going to have more coming. So you're going to have a chance, but if not, just wait another 11 years.
Right.
Another opportunity will come around.
Good to know. Professor Jana Levin, thank you so much for your time this morning and helping us better understand this beautiful, fascinating thing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Coming up, it is being called the surprise hit of the season. But is Saturday night really ready for prime time? Grab your popcorn. The reviews are in. We've got more on that and everything else from the world of entertainment you simply can't miss this weekend. It's next. Welcome back. Wicked pre-sales went live earlier this week, and the numbers are defying gravity. Movie ticketing giant Fandango says the film adaptation of the hit Broadway musical, now the #2 first-day pre-seller of the year for the retailer, just behind Deadpool and Wolverine. NBC's sister company Universal Pictures also released this new poster featuring the leading ladies, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. But all the theater kids know that photo was inspired by the OG Broadway poster. And if all that doesn't already have you tickled pink and green, there's also a new soundtrack coming out alongside the film featuring some of the more popular songs from the show. See what we did there? Fortunately, we don't have an awfully long way to go because Wicked flies into theaters on November 22nd. Of course, you don't have to wait until November to get your movie fix. There's a lot coming out this weekend, from a film that takes you behind the scenes of the very first episode of Saturday Night Live to a show that's being called the surprise hit of the season. Joining us now for our weekly can't miss list is TV personality and host of The Baker Show podcast, Baker Machado. Good to have you with us.
Hi,
Let's
Joe.
start with Wicked. You're part of these
I already
folks.
got my tickets. Did you? Because
I did not.
I can't remember the last time I bought movie pre-sale tickets. And Wicked, obviously, because you're getting two parts of this. One this year and then one another year or so afterwards. No, and the poster, as you mentioned, because it's so exactly just like the one we saw on Broadway with Kristen Chenoweth. I mean, I'm screaming. I'm so excited for this.
Are you a middle person, a front row person? Like,
Oh, I'm a middle person.
Middle,
So you want to
okay,
basically get
sure.
all of this. I don't want to get like hurt my neck by sitting in the front seat.
All right, middle. Good. All right. Let's move into something that's happening much sooner. It's a film that's set 50 years ago, a few floors above us here at 30 Rock. We're talking about Saturday Night, which folks may not know. It was actually called Saturday Night when the show debuted. It is really just about, what, the 90 minutes leading up to the first episode.
I mean, the anxiety-ridden 90 minutes leading into the very first broadcast of SNL. And weirdly enough, Joe, this happened 50 years ago to the day, October the 11th, here at 30 Rock. As you see right there, Gabriel LaBelle from The Fabelmans, who we remember from that movie, plays a young Lorne Michaels as he's trying to string together at a very last minute the 90 minutes to get his comedy experiment on the air before those famous words, live from New York, it's Saturday night. And by the way, Jason Reitman, who directed this, nailed the casting in it. It's specifically Corey Michael Smith. He's best known from the Riddler in Gotham, the TV show. He plays Chevy Chase. The look, his mannerisms, everything is so good. So it's a throwback to that infamous night 50 years ago of what could have been a total disaster to what is now must-see television every night on Saturday night.
I think people are going to love checking this one out. All right, a film now out giving us a behind-the-scenes look at a screen legend. Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. This just looks fantastic.
Yes, bring on the waterworks here. This has a near 100% perfect rating over on Rotten Tomatoes. And as you mentioned, this follows sort of the meteoric rise of this unknown actor to then becoming a super dad, to then his infamous injury that almost took his entire life, to then him be basically a disabilities champion later in his final years of his life. This is all told through the lens of the family, with some never-before-seen home video footage, some interviews from the family as well. And one thing I think is really interesting, people don't remember, it talks about a time when Christopher Reeve was studying at Juilliard and his roommate was none other than Robin Williams.
Wow.
And the best friendship that they were able to sort of create while they were both sort of living, you know, slumming it up here in New York City as students.
I'm so excited to see this one. All right, The Apprentice. It made headlines at Cannes, and it's opening in some places.
Yes.
There's some controversy, right?
There is. This was the movie that we almost weren't able to see, mainly because of financing to get it done, also the legal threats from the real Donald Trump to actually get this out specifically before the election time. This talks about the story of how Trump, before he hosted The Apprentice, was an apprentice of his mentor, Roy Cohn, who was played by the great Jeremy Strong from Succession. And of course, Sebastian Stan is playing Donald Trump in this. Now, as you mentioned, this premiered at Cannes to a big reception here, but there was concern here because a lot of Hollywood financiers didn't want to get the legal threats thrown at them, so they wouldn't basically finance this film. But a lot of people also say this is very sympathetic to Donald Trump as well. So if you think this is an anti-Trump movie, it's not that at all. Getting great reviews, over 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
We have a little over a minute, so let's do a bit of a speed round here.
Okay,
All right, try and get a few of these piece by piece. Pharrell Williams.
Yes, Pharrell Williams, a documentary biography told through Legos, which is great.
That is cool.
And this was actually all of his idea as well, and it also has his friends Justin Timberlake, Snoop Dogg, Gwen Stefani, everybody in this. This is getting great reviews as well. It talks about his rise of becoming the Hollywood mega producer that he is.
Creative concept. We Live in Time, Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh.
Yes, this goes through, this is the tearjerker right here. This basically goes through the entire arc of a relationship, from dating to getting married to having kids to then dealing with your spouse having cancer. Andrew Garfield said this helped him with the grief of his mother, who he lost through cancer as well. This is getting almost 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So many good things right now. All right, we teased this one, Bad Monkey, Vince Vaughn. It's on Apple TV Plus. Great reviews.
Great reviews. People are saying this is one of the best finales ever done. So we don't know if this is going to get a second season or not. Vince Vaughn has said he really wants a second season of this. The finale just came out this week on Apple TV Plus if you want to watch it. But this is one of Vince Vaughn's best characters, even if you're not a fan of him.
And one more thing we don't have time to talk about, but it's Disclaimer with Cate Blanchett.
Oh, this one getting great reviews right here. Alfonso Cuarón directed this, the Oscar-winning director, with her. She's a journalist who is basically getting exploited for her deepest, darkest secret. This one is out this weekend on Apple TV Plus.
We did have time to talk about it.
Yes, we did it.
Baker Machado, great job. Thank you so much. That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now, but don't go anywhere. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.